Hello everyone and welcome back to the next part of my One Pad Folio using the Savana papers by Stamperia. Now I got all my Stamperia paper from Intercraft, so you can head off to their website and you'll find all the papers at a really great price. Now it's the One Pad Folio. I did cover my Amazonia version using just the one pad. But if you're a bit worried and you've got things that you want to keep whole on your folio because you don't want to cut into some of this beautiful imagery too much, you could always get the background selection. So all these papers then match that Savana main pad. So you're getting more of the backing papers, so that will help stretch your original pad further. But I'm going to see if we can manage it again using just the one pad. So let's start with the cover. So I'm just going to grab my ruler and we need to find a page which has got a really nice image. So I managed to get the jaguar in the Amazonia one to fill that front page and had a nice background to do that bit. So I want it so that it's 8 1/4 inches tall. So what I do is I go through my pad with my ruler and find if I can find a page which has got an 8 1/4 inch image. So let's have a look. I could get the elephants, I suppose, and they would then come out from the side, but I'd be cutting off some wording there, which might look a bit strange. Now, I think this rhino one was the one, as I was making the folio itself and I looked through the papers with you, that jumped out because I like that tribal paper. So let's see how much we can get out of this one page. So I said our cover is 8 1/2, so I'm going to make it 8 1/4 inches tall. Now I'm going to take it from the bottom. So again, just take my ruler just to see. That's sort of where I'm going to get it. And we're going to go 8 1/8 wide. Oh, let's have a look. Or could get away with 8 inches. So if I cut it at 8 inches across, I'm going to cut the word rhinoceros in half. So let's have a look. If I bring from the other edge, that's it. I'm going to get his head popping out from there. So I might just take an inch off here because I can use an inch. Oh, let's have a look. 2 inches if I cut. Yes, let's cut 2 inches off the end. So 8 1/4 tall. So let's just grab my trimmer. I'm going to cut this. The first cut is always the scariest one. After this, we'll be fine. But you want to get your cover right. 8 1/4. And I'm just going to remeasure this front flap because I'm going to use this left hand side on here, and it was 2 1/4, so a 2 inch one will be fine. I've got a 2 inch on the other side of my trimmer which I can use. And now always double checking the measurements. I think it was 8. So let's go and cut 8 inches. I might just go a little bit extra, a little 16, just to get a nice finish to it. So I've got that, which I can use for my cover because it's the correct height. But I've also got the backgrounds here, which I can use, and this bit. Got some black tape, which I can also use down the sides of my spines later on. let's have a look. Now I've picked these up, I can't remember which was which. There we are, that one. Now I have got that curve which I did on this one, so I'll have to work around that in a second as well. But let's get this main image down. So I'm just taking some black soot distress ink around the edge. It just takes away that white core from when we cut. And take some glue. The glue is clogged again. Let's just take my pin, and I did check it before I started as well. There we go. And I've got my Cool Cat's Teflon tool as well, so that I'll be able to use that to squeeze the glue right up to the edge and smooth my paper out. Here we go, my Teflon tool, because that doesn't mark or score or anything. Let's just get our rhino on. And here we go. Then we've got, I could use that side, which would continue the pattern, especially along the bottom there, or I could use that bit, which I think I will, because it'll tie in that left-hand side. Now, let's find out, have I got some scrap card? So let's find out which of these marries, because I used my corner chomper, that We Are Memory Keepers one. I think the large one will work nicely here. So which way do I want it, that way or that way? I think we'll go that way. So I'm just using the 10mm corner rounder, which I think is a large on some punches. Taking my black soot. And again, gluing it down. And you can see I haven't done anything else to the cover, but if you've got the chipboard pieces and things, you could stick them onto the front with no problem there. So let's go around to the sides. Now the sides, or the spines, were 1¼ inches, so we're going to cut 1-inch strips. Let's see if I can get them out of. Go. Just see if I can hold it in place. I should cut these first. Now it's moved again. If I brought my low-tack tape, that would have worked there. I could have just put some low-tack tape and stuck it to my trimmer, but I didn't bring my low-tack tape with me today. And again, just taking my black soot around. I'll just glue these onto the side. And I'm not going to do the back of my album yet, or my folio. I'm going to do that at the end. I'm going to see what I've got left, and if I've got a sheet which will work, I'll cover it all. Or if I haven't got a sheet left over, what I'll do is I'll put a piece of black on the back, and I'll just put a strip just to tie it all in. And this side too. There we go. Careful about distressing so I don't open my folio onto it. So there's our cover done, well, except for the back, as I explained. So let's start on the inside. So let's find a nice image to go here. If you remember in my Amazonia one, if you've watched the other videos, we had that toucan coming all the way down. So I'm looking for an image that'll flow down that side. Oh, that's the background paper. So that, if I use that, I'm going to be cutting my elephant in half, and I'll only have its bottom. The giraffes could work nicely, except I'm going to be cutting here, so you'd only see the top there. And the lions could work because they're, yes, let's go for the lions. Because I'll have him on the left here, and this one on the right. So our pages at 8.5 tall, so I'm going to cut it at 8 1/4. So 8 1/4. And then the pages were 6 1/4 wide, if I remember correctly. Yeah, which means this is how we maximise our paper. We're just going to cut it in half at 6. Oh, let's not put the trimmer away yet. We need that. So we'll cover both these at the same time. So on the left-hand panel, it's 4 1/2. So I'm going to cut my male line at 4 1/4 inches. So that's my left-hand side. And then with my lioness, I'm measuring the bottom pouch underneath the flap. So that is 5 inches. So from the bottom, we're going to go 4 3/4. So that's going to be beneath the flap. That's going to be tucked behind our pocket. And again, we've still got that large piece, which we can use on the flaps in a second. So with this flap, we're only going to see 3 sides. So I'm not going to bother inking the left-hand side. This, we're going to see it all. So I've inked all 4 sides. And these two, I'm going to see the top and the 2 sides, but I'm not going to see the bottom. That's going to be tucked inside our pocket. And this one, we're going to see it all, so let's finish it off that way. Let's bring our folio back in. You can see this one sheet is going to cover quite a bit of our folio. So this is the liner for that left hand flap. Now, if you did want to add magnets to these 2 flaps, you need to do it before sticking this down because you want your magnet underneath. And then, if you remember in the Amazon one, you get that pattern then continuing. So that all ties in nicely there. And then this one, actually I'm going to stick the bottom one first. Again, if you wanted to add a magnet, now would be the time to do that. I'm just going to use a paper clip or something to hold that flap down. So there's the lioness and her cubs. And again, we'll have the pattern continuing above. So I'm tucking this inside that pocket. And then I'm just eyeing up a nice even border along those 3 parts there. You can see how using that one sheet makes the whole of the inside just tie in together. Now I've got these 2, which are the backs from this lion paper. See, let's grab the ruler. So I'm looking for 1 3/4 inch flaps there. So if I got 1 3/4, that'd be 2, 3. Yeah, I could get all 4 of those pieces out of this. So let's go for that. So I want them to be 4 1/4 inches wide. Just double check, it was 4 1/4, yes. And 4 1/4. And then the flap was 2 inches, so I'm going 1 3/4, 1 3/4, 1 3/4, and 1 3/4. So got those 4 pieces again. Now I used my large round punch there, 1/4 rounder. So this time I'm going to swap over to my medium. So let's have a look which way round do we have those. Or those, let's have those. Those will go on the inside then, and these 2 on the outside. So I got my 7mm one this time. So there's the top one there. So let's glue these 2 down. Oh, I think I just inked the wrong side. So let's have this side. The only reason being, I think that's a lighter brown, so it ties in a bit more with the papers I've chosen. This one's going to go here. And this one is going to go And then the insides. So let's have this one coming up and this one coming down. That's one. And two. And this was just coming down. I know it was off screen, but I think you can work out what I'm doing there. And that's the left hand side done. I'll wait later on because I think it's an inch. Yeah, my flap is 1 inch, so I'm just going to need a nice thin one later on. So I'd rather use my scraps later on rather than cut a piece specifically for that bit. So let's carry on with our left hand side. So as we open it up, we've got this large pocket, and as you open the large pocket, you can have everything running across. So let's have a look on the Amazonia one to show you what I mean. So as you open it up, you'll be able to open this, and you've got the whole image with a continuation that way. So let's have a look what'll look nice there. So I'm thinking, is it time now for the elephants? Or we did have the giraffes, didn't we? Oh, actually, are we gonna fit? If I take off that little 3/4 of an inch that I need for those flaps, I think I might actually get it out of this one. Let's go for it. Stop thinking so much and just go for it, isn't it? So our page is going to be 8 1/4 for the paper. There we are. So we've got the giraffe's head nicely in it. And now I'm just going to go for that. Actually, I think it's all going to fit in nicely. So the first pocket is 4 inches. So I'm going to cut it at 3 3/4. So that's going to line the first pocket. Then this part is 2 1/4. So I'm going to do a, well, let's have a look. I do this different because I want it to come underneath as well, don't I? Let's do it at 2 1/4. So the next bit, 2 1/4. So that then is going to tuck inside. And then my last flap is 5 inch flap. So I'm just going to come back. I am going to cut. So what I can do, if I cut off a little 1/4 inch. So I really don't want to be cutting off. And I'm going to cut it at just under 5, and I'm going to take it all the way into this score line. See, there's a way around everything. So I'm just coming back an 1/8 this time, just so I can save that zebra. Okay, so let's bring those 3 pieces. So our first one, oh, this is the flap, so I need to take my medium cord around it. So that's going to go there. Our giraffe. It's going to go here. And then this is going to line that pocket. So just glue them down. Some of this is going to come a little bit closer than I usually do. So I've got to make sure it doesn't come all the way up to that hinge. It's a little bit close. There we go. Excellent. Then our giraffes. I'm not going to glue that down yet. I know I put the glue on. I haven't done my closure yet, have I? Right, with my closure, I have used some of my Cool Cats dies. So I'm going to do a swivel brad closure here. And there's circle ones and things, but there's also some of these decorative ones. So you get the main bit with the black and a piece which you can decorate with your decorative paper. So that's just a piece to go on top of that one. So they're just called the brad closures. So I'm going to need 2 brads. Because I'm going to have 2 closures. And I've cut out 4 of the larger ones in my black. Now I do 4. Oh, be careful, there's glue on that one. I was lucky I caught it in time. If not, I would have just put some thread closures, some folio closures. But I wanted to show you something different. So there we go. We're going to stick 2 of our decorative brad closures together, just to get it nice and strong. There we go. And now I need some closure. So I've got that scrap piece from the front. I've got my die cutting machine here. And I'm just going to take that decorative one again. I'm going to see how this is going to cut a matching layer for us. So I've done one. Just do a second one. dropped the die. I've remembered to pick that up later on. I'm just going to take my ink, just take away that cut core. And you'll see now how this then makes a perfect matten layer for our closure. Okay, so now let's bring this back in. I'm going to grab my pencil. I've got my brads and I've got my paper. Just need the correct page. So this is going to go on here. I'm going to close it and I'm going to keep it off to the right. And then I'm just going to mark the hole. The reason I don't do it like this is, although that's how it's going to be when it's closed, you need it to be able to swing and clear away from there. Let's just colour it in there. Oh, so there's one. Just going to use this as a guide. You could always have measured it as well. And two. Right. And the next job now is finding where those marks were. Keeping my fingers out the way. Just going to make a hole there and there. So let's just make them a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to use my brads. And now I can take my brads, split the legs on the back. I think I've got a brad with only one leg there. Let's grab the other one. Very unusual. Just grab another one. There we go, so there's the first one. Let's grab another brad. And place them there we go. I'm having more trouble with the brads than anything. There we are. So now we've got our swing brad closures ready. Let's glue it in place this time. And take some extra glue around where those brads are. You could always put some double-sided tape as well. And place it on. And the final bit was the elephant. I'm going to tuck that inside there. And you can see how when you've got your pattern going, you get the whole scene there. So it's a nice way to use those scenic papers, and then your brads will just close as so. Now the rest of this portion here is now just measuring the rectangle and going 1/4 of an inch shorter. So let's have a look at what we've got. could we get away with that giraffe there? I think he could look quite nice. What else have we got? We've got this nice cheetah one, which actually ties in nicely there. Or do we want a bit more of a contrast? I think we could go with the giraffe, and then we could... Let's have a look. We've got these papers as well, the elephant and the zebra. I think we're going to go giraffe. So again, our pages are 8.5, so we want 8 1/4. Let me just check. If I go 8 1/4, I'm going to cut that giraffe off. So let's have a look. Yeah, I don't really want to be cutting. Let's go for that giraffe. So I don't want to be cutting that giraffe in half. So let's have a look at this one. So let's go 8 1/4 on this one. And I want the tree. Yeah, let's go for the tree. It's quite nice. And it was 5 inches, so I want 4 3/4. And I've gone for the tree so that my cheetah's in one piece. So let's just get my ink again. And if you've got the die cuts, or if you're going to fussy cut some of the images from the cover, if I can find the cover right now, on the back we've got all these little bits here, and right at the back of the book as well, you've got the animals as well. This would be a time where you could maybe fussy cut and add some bits here. Let's move that away. Oh, the back of this was quite nice as well. There we go. So that's that page. So you've got the tree, and you open it up and you get all your animals. I actually like how that's turned out. So now the inside, we've got 2 vertical pockets here to cover, and our bit in the middle. So let's start with that central bit. And we had that cheetah page somewhere. Where have I put it? Here we are. I think he'd look quite nice in there. And if I can get some of that in there too, that'd be great. So I've got these 2 scraps I've got, which I can use somewhere. And I've got this scrap as well. And those 2 actually tie quite nicely together, so they might make some nice vertical pockets there. What have we got on this one? We've got the rhino. I think he's going to be going down there, I think, on the inside of my flap. Let's have a look. Shall I just commit myself to this one? I think I will. So I've already cut it to the 8 1/2. So let's see how wide we want it to be. So I'm just going to measure the flap. I think it'll be the easiest. 6 1/4. So it is 6. So let's have a look which is the best way to get him in. If I do it that way, yes, we have. Taking the glue all the way around. Now, of course, if you wanted to make your papers go even further, a nice piece of cream cardstock or something would have worked here. But I think this way really makes the most out of the Stamperia images, because you've got this nice open space and you're not going to stick anything on it. You're just going to place your bits inside. Let's bring the Amazonia one in. You see everything just sort of tucks in behind. So I used the map of South America there. Oh, wrong way, that way. Okay. So now we're going to cover these two. Now, these ones are just going to be 6-inch wide panels. So I'm just going to look for something which I can just cut in half. I don't think I'm ready to cut up the elephant quite yet, because we're going to cut in half, we're going to lose a bit of him. What about the giraffes? If I cut these in half, yes, I think we're going to be able to use the giraffes finally. So let's move my folio out of the way. Bring in my trimmer. And they were, if I remember right, 8.5, so it's 8.25. You'd think it'd be ingrained in my mind by now. Ah, yeah, that's why we didn't do the 8.25, because we were chopping off his head. So let's have a think. I'm going to need one and a 1/4-inch strips on here. So if I cut off 1 1/4, it wasn't 1 1/4, was it? It was half, just over 1/2 inch. So let's go to half and another 8, so that's 5/8 of an inch. There we go. So that now can be for my flaps later on, and then it's 8 1/4. There we are, we've saved his head. And 6 inches wide. And then you've got to be careful here because they're not the same. Our vertical pockets are on opposite ends. So on the left, I'm going to cut 3 inches and 3 inches. So yeah, I don't know why I measured it when I knew they were the right size. But on this one, this is going on the right hand side, so I need to cut it off the left, and I'm going to cut it up 3 inches. And then on this one, it's going to be on the left of my album, so the pocket is on the right, so I need to turn it around 3 inches. Okay, let's bring in our folio. So now we've got this giraffe on the left and these ones on the right. And this is going to be a pockety page, so it's going to slide in as a liner, so I don't need to ink the left hand side. And then this, I don't need to ink the right hand side, so it's going to tuck into my pocket. Let's get them glued down. So this is the liner one. Just going to lift it so I can get it nice and straight. And the pocket. Let's slide over. This is the liner on this side. Oh, always a disaster with me. Luckily this is dry clear glue. I do like the Stamperia papers with how much detail they've got. So we even get this nice border carrying on and all the patterns. So there we go. Then here we've got those 3/4 of an inch. We're going to cut them at 6, isn't it? Yeah, at 6. So I cut in 6, I got one top and one bottom. And again, just bring my corner rounder in. And the other one. And then you would just repeat this then on the inside as well. As this is such a small piece, I'm going to wait till the end to see what I can get out of somewhere else. Just glue it across the bottom here. So there we go, there's the left hand side, pretty much done. We just need to add a closure to there, but I'm going to do that later on. Everything is lined nicely there. So again, I'm just going to wait till I find some scrap bits for that bit. And it's going to be 6 inches wide, so I'll be able to get both sides from one long strip there. You can see I worked everything out for this album. So we're going to do these double pockets first, and this is going to go all the way up. So there's a chance to use. So So this page has got those large mats, so I'm going to leave that for now. I'm starting to think now a lot more carefully about what I need to be using. Do I want it all tribal, or are we going to go for the elephants? Do you know what, let's go for the elephants. Here they are. Okay, let me think. I'm going to need a little bit for over here. So if I work that out, first I'll be able to get more of the elephant in. So this is going to need to be 2 inches. So if I take off 2 inches there, and the 6, it'll be 8 inches. So I'll be cutting here, which means I've got the whole elephant in shot. So I'm going to cut the 2 inches first. Oh, actually, no, I'm going to do the 8 1/4 first. Otherwise, I won't have my 2 6 inches across the bottom, will I? Oh, I'm losing a bit of hem there. How am I going to do this now? Let's have a look. Got to really think about this now. So what I want is this bit here, isn't it? But I don't want to cut off. Let's cut off some pattern. Does this match one of these? It could do, so I could use this as a liner on my... So I will need about 2 inches later on, maybe even 4. Let's have a look. If I cut off, what I'm talking about here is the bit that goes underneath there, and I will need it to be more than 2 inches. How am I going to do it? Two isn't going to be quite enough. Does look like I've stumbled into a roadblock here, doesn't it? What if I need 1 inch there, a 3/4 of an inch? If I I'll take off 3/4 of an inch from the top. Still thinking about this. If I take a bit up there, I will drop down a bit then, but I still want our 12-inch strip. So if I do this way, I will have a 12-inch strip, won't I? Here we are. So 3/4 of an inch. I think I've finally got it. 8 1/4. Have we got the elephant? Still not in there. What am I going to need later on? My 2 inches. That's not enough there. Why did I choose the elephant? Let's cut the 2-inch strip from our edge anyway. We do need that. Oh, hang on. We'll take the 2 inches from here. I think I've finally got it. 2 inches. That's going to be the cover for the inside of the flap. Right. Now, let's take 8 1/4. Hopefully. And I need his tusk to be within that 6, but I want a nice useful piece this side. So at 1.5 inches, it's probably going to be able to be used somewhere. There we go. This may mean I'm not going to make a one pad folio. We'll have to find out once we get to the middle. So, here we go. I'm going to cut a 2-inch pocket, so 1 3/4 off the bottom. And it was a 4 1/4 inch pocket. So I've done that much, so now I need 2 1/4. I have to turn it around. So 2 1/4, and then my pocket is the same, so 1 3/4, and then the top is the bit that's left. Okay, so these are the pockets which then hold your 6x4 photos. This is a liner, so I don't need to do the bottom, just the top and the 2 sides. And this is totally visible, so I need to do it all. Right, let's move that piece out the way. Build our elephant. Let's start at the bottom and work up. And then the liner. So I'm tucking it into the pocket and then just bringing it back up, not quite touching the bottom pocket. Oh, the top pocket, sorry. Go. And there's our double pocket page done. So we've got this large one here which needs a nice image, so I think I'm going to use this one. But on the back we have got the zebra print. Well, I know there's nothing on that one. Let's have a look what I've got left. That has just got the journal pockets. We have got the tags, which I was going to try and save. The only problem with this one is we've got another one of those. So let's have a look. I do like the tags, and if I can keep some, or we're going to use the circle tabs maybe this time. Right, we're going to have to go for these ones, I think. Let's have a look what we've got. We've still got some of these which we can use for our pockets and things. As I said, if you're really struggling, you could use now these background papers to help pad it out. It's got more of that lovely giraffe paper there. But I'm determined I'm going to make this work using just the one pad. Can I use anything from here? I could use a bit of this actually to line the inside of the pocket. So let's just cut this at 6. That help save some of the paper. I think it will. Am I going to be able to use it? Maybe not at the bottom there. We can come back to that anyway, because we do still have all these offcuts here. I probably should have used some of them maybe instead of the giraffe paper here. These giraffe papers, I could have used these offcuts there nice and easily, but I still wanted those giraffes. Anyway, we've still got places where we can use them. Let's have I don't want to cut that zebra in half. That's the only problem with this one. I think we're going to have to use just this zebra side. Let's go for it. Now, this zebra page here now, in my original, was just a blank sheet with photo slots in it. I used my Cool Cats photo slot dies because I didn't want bulk. So it would just be a case of doing a photo mat or something on this. That might have helped me as well if I just done some plain white or plain cream cardstock there. But as I said, I'm determined to get this a One Pad Folio again for you. I did it with the Amazonia. It worked. But it's not until you start playing that you know if it's going to work or not. Okay. So as I said, the original one just had little corner slots. I'll show you in a second. There's my Amazonia one. Here we are. As you opened it up, it just had a place to put a photo. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to use these. You could just stick a piece of card on top. But the photo slots by Cool Cats, you get the die to cut a nice pierced or stitched edge. And then you get a matching one with 4 corners like so. And the corners, the size is, you get a 6x4, a 5x7, and also another 4x4 one. So I want to show you these 2 rectangles one though. So you could have your 6x4 in the middle, but they're not quite nice and large. So I'm going to go this time for the 5x7. So I'm just going to take this through my machine. Now with our scrapbook papers only being 6 inches wide, you can see I'm only using my Spellbinder, the small platinum, my Platinum 6, which has got a 6-inch wide mouth. So I'm not even having to use a large die cutter machine either. And then I'm just going to take one of these and I'm going to put it in to my photo slots. And this is just to train the paper to know that the photos will be going in here. So when we're gluing, it's not going to be glued flat to your page. So let's have a look. Ooh, throwing everything now. So as I glue, I'm going to go around the edge. And I'm going to stay away from where that black cardstock has come through from my photo mat. So there we go. There's one side. Actually, I think this zebra print has actually worked out better than I thought. I was a bit worried. And the other side. There we go. So now I've only got this central one to go, and I have actually still got all of this. Let's see if we can use something on the front here to tie everything in. So I'm not having to use my photo mats, my journal cards. Could this go that way? Because I'd like to keep some of those tags if I could. And here. Because a 6-inch piece will cover the whole of this. So if I can get half of it, it's going to have to go that way for me to keep my tags. Let's cut this in half. Let's go for it. I'm just going to cut it at 6 inches. Now the difficult piece is which tags am I going to keep and which ones am I going to use. So we've got a giraffe there. We've got, I think I'm going to keep that one. I'm going to use this one inside here. Or could we use that lion? It's a zebra print. Let's see how it goes. Let's align the inside first. So this is where, again, you're going to have to think what closure you're going to use. Now, in my Amazoni one, I did a Cool Cats sliding one. But I think this time, I'm going to do a threaded one again. Because I have got the space to do that. Because the brads won't lift it up too much. Or should we go for a brad closure? Let's go for the brad closure. Now, although it's called a brad closure, I'm not going to use a brad on this one. So let me show you which ones I'm talking about. These, again, are brad closures by Cool Cats. They're not the swing ones. These are glued down. So I've got some black cardstock. And I'm just going to cut 4 of these. There's 1. Two. 2 more. 3. I'll go slowly because I'm trying not to shake the whole table. 4. So there's magnetic closures. Where are we? Let's open up our folio. So we are going to use that one on the inside, aren't we? We're going to have our magnetic brad closures. And I've got all these pieces. Is that rhino one wide enough? Ah, that. Okay, that was totally accidental, but it all matches down. Let's go for that. I think we found it. So 6 inches. If I'm not mistaken, this was almost the right size. Just grab my ruler. Our flap is 3 3/4, so I went at 3 1/2. And again, rounded corner. Well, I think that was a really happy accident. I should really say, oh yeah, that was totally planned the whole time. But as I indicated earlier, I didn't know where I was going to put things on this one. I wanted you to see how I would figure things out. And my determination to make this using just that one pad and not to break into that background papers. There we go. So now we definitely are going to be using this here. So the first one is 5 1/2. So I'm going to cut 5 1/4. We're not going to glue that one down quite yet because we need to put our magnets in. So was it? Which way was it? That way. Then our flap on the top, I need to cut at 3 1/2. So I've cut it from the top, you can see. So that then will just line in there. But with this one now, I want to corner around the top of it. I can glue this one on. And I can glue my pocket liner. And then that's that piece. So you've got that pattern going all the way down. And yes, the rhino does match nicely. So then we've got our brad closures. Now if I show you nice and close, what you've got is a score line by there. So the top bit is what I'm going to glue onto my page. Let's get some glue. And I'm just going to bring in my ruler just to get the even. So score line, I'm lining up with the bottom of my paper and I'm just bringing it so it touches my ruler. So I've got my ruler lined up to the side of the page and I'll just bring it over to the other side and do the same. There we go. And then flip it over. And now I'm going to glue the whole of the back and over that bit. And again, stick it all over. And that's it. There we go. So we've got our flaps. So now what I'm going to do is take some double-sided tape. If I can find it, there we are. And my scissors. And I'm going to place a little square on the back of each of these. Let's take them off. And I'm just going to put my magnets. So these are the same as I used when I was constructing the album. They're 1/2 mil thick. And now I'm going to take the other two. I've got 3 there. We'll check I haven't got 2. Nope. Let's put them on. I'm just going to take some tape onto one, onto the other. I'm going to lift that decorative paper off. I'm going to close. And now my 2 magnets are glued there. And then you can take your black tape and round it off. I feel like this video is going on long enough now, so let's just glue it over. There we are. Got a nice tribal feel to this pocket. It's actually looking quite nice, and then that rhino, and you can hear that satisfying clunk there. And what I do now is I would go back to my kit, and in the kit you get a circle. I'll do this later on. I'm going to cut 2 scraps, glue them on the front, and 2 more for my scraps and glue them on the back. So we've got that done. Just need to do those 2 bits. Oh, and if you want, then you can also put 2 little black pearls, or, well, any colour pearls, which would match your papers, to cover those, or you can leave the holes as they are. So I've still got a little strip to do there. That's done. So let's have, so it's 6 inches by, what did we say, 3/4. Did we cut one earlier for this? I don't think we did we? I might be mistaken. Oh, hang on. There we are. Yes, we did. So let me just cut this at 6. I've got a bit of a jagged raw edge from when I peeled it off. So let's just curl that out. Let's have so again, I used my medium corner rounder because I used the large on the black. And then, so that's going to go that way, so I need to take it off the top this time. Not that I think it would matter too much with a non-directional paper, but if you have some text or something you want to be able to read, you'll need to make sure it's the right way. Alternatively, you could just leave the underside just black, because you're not going to really see anything there. But if you wanted to put some magnets to keep it down, that could be an idea. Or, again, you could use your brad closure ones here, and you can lift it up. And then you've also got then a tuck spot for some journaling under the magnets. I have done that in a previous album. So I think that's all we've got now is to line these bits. It's got quite a bit of the zebra print left, actually. Right, didn't we cut a piece ready for here. Well, that's nice and big. I'm sure you'll probably shout to me, yes, that you did this piece. Just look at that piece as well, but that wasn't it. Oh, was it the rhino piece? Probably was, wasn't it? So let's have a look what we can have. So I'm just going through my scraps now. I think I'm going to use these two tribally ones for my liners. Yes, I think it was the rhino I was going to put down there, wasn't it? It had the faded, so we've got a strip we can put there. 2 strips here. So let's cut these two tribal ones as we are. The width doesn't matter, but I like it nice and thick just because you can see underneath later on. So I'm just going to cut these now. Still going at 8 1/4, isn't it? Yeah, 8 1/4. Oh, forgot a hand down the middle. Let's just move this out of the way. So make sure you're getting in underneath that pocket. There we are. And in we go. And again then on this side. Oh, I wish I'd used that side now. That's gorgeous, that side. And that would have tied in with the lions as well, wouldn't it, this side? Never mind, they're all just as nice. Let's just tuck it in that side. Glue it down. Let's have a piece to go over here. That's too small. We've got a piece we can go there. Or shall we go zebra? Let's go zebra all across. So 8 1/4 tall again. And the first flap is 2 inches. And then a 1 will do, but I'm going to go a little bit over the 1 this time. Just so I'm covering a little bit more of the black. I don't think I've cut that very straight. Let's get a trimmer up. And this is where I was saying, if you've got this low tack tape, just a little bit more than 1, you can stick it down onto your trimmer and cut. I think that's a bit better now. And then I think it was the large one which matched. Here's the first one and the second one. And then I'll just need another 1-inch one down middle. But I have noticed the battery on the camera has gone into saver mode. So I think if I can leave that bit, I said I've got plenty of these scraps now to fill in there. So I'd rather leave that and show you how I'm going to do the closure. So I want to keep this shut. So what I'm going to do is one of my brad closure using the Cool Cats folio circles. Now the folio circles came with a folio envelope, but then afterwards the Cool Cats came out with this purely because I do mine using 6 per closure. So now we've got these circles which have these little holes in the middle, but it was a bit small. So what I've gone to is the perfect circles by Cool Cats, and they've got huge ones, but you can only cut 2 at a time. So if you're doing what I've done, I'll show you in the middle later on. If you're doing a corset one, I'd recommend these because you need to cut quite a lot of them. But I'll show you with these because they're just larger, and you do get 2 of each circle as well, but I'm only going to use 1 now because I've already cut some. And in the perfect circles, you also get circles with pierced edges. So I'm going to use that for my ribbon end. So when you cut the large one, you'll notice that they're different colours. They've done it very clever. They go down and down and down, and each alternate size is a different colour. So you can find the matte and layer really easy by going from light to dark. So I'm just going to grab the circles I cut before I started. So I've cut 6 of these. 1, 2, 4, 6. I've actually cut spares, and I've cut 2 of the plain ones. I haven't cut the decorative ones yet because I was going to use the scraps. To make my closure, I'm going to just cut 2 of the, the smallest. We're going to the darker blue now. Let's have a look at our scraps. I did already start cutting into ones, and yes, here. So I'm going to keep using that one. We need to cut 2 of each of these. This is one of the pierced, one with a hole. I'm going to do it again. Here we go, and 2 more. I'm just going to quickly go around the edges of my decorative paper. And if you've seen some of my other videos, you've probably seen me do this before. Go. Right. So this is why I like this closure, because we can add them after we've done our decorative paper. Now I've got the underside of one of my circle ones with a hole, and I'm going to do the underside of that one. So I've got the nice sides with a nice bevel from the die cut showing, and then I take my decorative paper with that hole in the middle and place it on top. And then I take one of my extra circles and leave them there. I'm just going to do the same again. Nice bevels on the outside. Decorative paper on top. And then my 2 pierced circle ones, I'm just going to glue them on top. make sure the nice piercing is facing up. Again, that's upside down. You can see it's not quite as nice that side, but it does look really nice on that side. There we go. I think that's the other spare one. So I can put my dies away now and bring in 2 brads. Let's hope these ones have got legs. And I'm going to go through that doubled up one with the decorative paper and take my loose single one through and open it up. And again, through that built up one, grab my nice single one with a bevel facing up. So the nice side is facing up again. And there's my 2 ribbon ends. Let's bring in our folio again. Let's make some space. I'm going to take some strong double-sided tape and just place some on the back of each of these. And I can take it off now. I'm going to put some glue as well, because this is going to have quite a bit of playing with. I'm just going to place it in the middle. Ooh, that wasn't planned either, but it will actually slide, so it's not going to stay there. But it does match up nicely there. Ooh, let's have a look. I don't think that's quite in the middle. I could have brought this over. So it's 4.5, so 2 1/4 should be where the bottom of the circle, there we are, that's better. 2 1/4 inches where the bottom of the circle should hit my ruler, if it's in the middle. And again, on this side, so 2 1/4 is there. Let's see if it... So. And normally then I'd leave that to dry for a little bit. I'd do this bit then right at the end once everything else is done, but I haven't got the time to do that. This is just some thin wax cord, and I'm just tying it around twice. And then I didn't bring my small scissors. I'd get my small scissors and cut in nicely there. Then I'm going to take my cord. I'm going to come down. Let's come around this side. So I'm going through that doubled up one and that extra one I did afterwards. You can see how it's starting to move already because I haven't let it dry. So it's gone through that black one we've glued on and that doubled up one with the pattern paper on top, because we've got that gap in between them. And then I'm just going to take some double-sided tape. Place them on the back of each of these. And I'm just going to use this then to cover the ribbon end. Take some glue and attach that on top. And that is how I close my folios. So I would do them a bit tighter, but as I said, the glue hasn't dried yet. So I'm going to take it out, bring it down back to where I wanted it. So that's how the folio shuts. Now the only other place we need to make a closure now is on this inside bit. Now this is where I would use my folio strips, because what I've done in my original one is exactly the same as I've just done on that lion one, but I've done 3 along the top and 3 along the bottom. And then when I took my cord, you definitely want to leave this dry before you do this. You bring your cord down diagonally up and diagonally down, straight up to the top. And you can see, once you've done, trained your folio spots, the cord just slides in between that gap and the top nicely. And that is what I call my corset closure. If you are having trouble getting your cord in between, once it's dried, of course, just take your scoring tool, a Teflon tool, and just work your way in. That'll help press it down as well onto there, but it'll also help you create a gap between the black one that's stuck on and that loose bit around the brad. So let's have a look, risking it a bit. There we go. So just one more strip there. I think my battery will survive. So let's just cut that at 8 1/4. Oh, I got the word elephant. Do I want the word elephant though? I don't think I do, because there is no elephant. Actually, have I got, is that gonna fit better? No, let's go for this one. I may actually have finished it, but I've also got, if you remember, my journaling cards, so I can cut out and I can tuck in. I've got that half a sheet of the tags as well to cut out. So when you see the walkthrough of this, I'll have hopefully finished all those little details that even though I said I wasn't going to have the word elephant, I have done. Never mind. There we go. It's probably just hinting that there's an elephant somewhere inside. And there we go. So pleased I actually managed to get it in from that one pad again. Just need a paper clip there. So there we have our Savana folio, using just one pad of Stamperia paper. Again, still got pieces left to use, so we can decorate. I've got a nice large piece here. Maybe I'll use the giraffe just to cover the back with the black as well. So thanks for joining me again. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you're enjoying these albums and folios which only use the one pad. I know people have enjoyed them in the past because they don't want to be buying multiple packs of just the same paper just to complete one project. So a very nice, cost-effective yet still interesting album. Lots of nice photo spaces everywhere, but also displaying the papers to the max. So thanks again to Intercraft for helping me come up with this project. So if you haven't been over to their shop yet, just head to intercraft.com. I'll also add a link down below. I'll add a link straight to the Savana stuff as well. They also stock other things in the Savana design as well, which I'll show you in another video as well. So if you watch the walkthrough, you'll see them as well. So thanks for watching, and please, if you haven't done so yet, give me those thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and hit that subscribe button. If you want to be notified when new videos go up as well, you need to click that bell button. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.